Perhaps the most important question economists have tried to answer over the centuries is why some countries are wealthy while others are poor. Let's tackle the question going back to the father of economics, Adam Smith, and his magnum opus, An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations. Countries, or people for that matter, can only become wealthier if they become more productive. You can't have more stuff unless you produce it. Stuff doesn't just fall from the sky like manna. It doesn't wash up on the shore like in Robinson Crusoe. You have to make it. Smith explains how the division of labor and specialization increase people's productivity. He uses a now famous illustration of a pin factory, which you heard about earlier in this course. Smith observed that as many as 18 distinct tasks are required to create a pin. 10 people working independently would not be able to make more than 200 pins. But if those 10 people specialize, they can produce tens of thousands of pins. That's a 100-fold increase in production without increasing the number of people or the physical resources involved. How is that possible? And how can it apply to producing cars, food, or satellites too? Smith gives 3 reasons. First, when you specialize at a task, you become much better and faster at doing it. Second, by focusing on 1 or 2 distinct tasks, you waste less time switching between tasks. Finally, focusing on one task encourages innovation and invention. You stand to benefit greatly from any improvements that make your task easier. But if the division of labor is so incredibly productive, why are there still poor countries? Why don't they just specialize and increase their productivity 100-fold? The answer is because it's not enough simply to increase production. Workers can't eat pins or sleep on them. They need to exchange the pins for money so that they can buy other goods. Smith says that the division of labor is limited by the size or extent of the market. A factory may be able to produce 40,000 pins with 10 specialized workers, but if they can only sell 1,000 of those pins, it doesn't make sense for them to produce 40,000. They should hire fewer workers who will be less specialized to produce 1,000 pins. While still superior to no specialization, output per worker is only in the hundreds of pins rather than in the thousands of pins. Limited access to markets restricts how much specialization a country will have. You already learned about the preconditions for market economies to work. But in this unit, you will see why it is market exchange and the invisible hand process that drives increasing division of labor and thus creates the wealth of nations that Smith wrote about 250 years ago.